the vibrant city of Mecca, long before the advent of Islam, there lived a woman whose spirit and strength would echo through history for centuries to come. Khadijah bint Khuwaylid, known not only as the first believer, but also as the first to wholeheartedly embrace the divine message brought by Prophet Muhammad, PBUH, was a woman of unparalleled character. Her journey began in a world vastly different from ours, one of tribal allegiances, harsh desert landscapes, and a society where women's roles were often confined by tradition. Yet Khadijah transcended all boundaries, embodying grace, wisdom, and power that many, even today, strive to understand. Khadijah was born into the prestigious Quraysh tribe, the dominant clan of Mecca, whose influence spread through the Arabian Peninsula's trade networks. Her father, Khuwaylid ibn Asad, was a wealthy merchant known for his integrity and leadership. Growing up in such a family meant Khadijah was introduced early to the values of responsibility, generosity, and resilience. But Khadijah's story is not just about status or wealth. From a young age, her heart revealed something even more profound, a spirit marked by empathy and a deep sense of justice. People often remember her as a figure who balanced strength and kindness, ambition and humility. In a society where power was often measured by physical dominance or tribal warfare, she wielded a quieter yet infinitely more powerful influence. It's fascinating to imagine young Khadijah in the bustling markets of Mecca, watching caravans prepare for journeys across scorching deserts to distant lands. While many women of her time might have remained in the domestic sphere, Khadijah's mind was sharp and her ambitions high. Her father trusted her with managing significant aspects of his trade, an unusual responsibility for a woman in that era. Her reputation grew, not just for her acumen, but for the honesty that defined her dealings. Merchants and traders knew her. Caravans would arrive safely, and that her agreements were always fair. Stories told by historians and scholars paint her as a visionary, a woman who understood the complexities of commerce, people, and the delicate balance of trust needed in business. Yet, life in 6th century Arabia was far from easy. The harsh desert environment was unforgiving. Water was scarce, and the heat could be merciless. Tribal rivalries often threatened trade routes. Caravan leaders had to be brave, smart, and prepared for danger at any turn. Khadijah faced all of these challenges head-on, guiding her caravans through perilous journeys with an unshakable resolve. But her strength was not merely physical or intellectual, it was deeply spiritual. Even before Islam's revelation, Khadijah was known for her contemplative nature and her search for truth. Unlike many around her who worshipped idols, she possessed a rare sensitivity to the divine, a yearning for a higher meaning that was often misunderstood or dismissed by her peers. To truly appreciate Khadijah's significance, it's important to understand the role and status of women in pre-Islamic Arabian society. While the tribal culture gave women some respect, they were largely excluded from leadership roles in public life. Marriages were often arranged for political alliances, and women's inheritance rights were limited. Yet Khadijah's life defied many of these norms. She was unmarried when she began her successful business ventures, a rarity in her time. Her independence and financial acumen gave her a unique position of power. People in Mecca, both men and women, admired her for these qualities, even if some envied her success. What truly set Khadijah apart was her remarkable blend of qualities. She was a woman of integrity who valued truth above all else. She was generous beyond measure, often using her wealth to help those in need. Yet she was also fiercely protective of her family and tribe. Her compassion was not a weakness, but a source of strength. When her people faced hardship, she was among the first to offer support, whether through charity or wise counsel. This empathy created bonds that lasted a lifetime. Khadijah's life took a pivotal turn when she met Muhammad, PBUH, a man known for his honesty, kindness, and devotion to God. She hired him to manage one of her trade caravans, and upon witnessing his character and dedication, she was deeply impressed. Their relationship began as a business partnership, but soon blossomed into something far more profound. Her decision to marry Muhammad, peace be upon him, was one of mutual respect and admiration. She was older, experienced, and wealthy, while he was humble and dedicated to spiritual contemplation. Their union symbolized a partnership rooted in love, faith, and shared values. Before Islam's revelation, Khadijah was known to be spiritually sensitive and seeking truth beyond the idolatry common in Mecca. She engaged in periods of reflection and prayer, searching for guidance. This sincere devotion made her the perfect partner for Muhammad, peace be upon him, who himself was a man deeply connected to divine truth. Her spiritual maturity helped prepare her for the momentous role she would soon embrace, the first to accept the message of Islam, the first believer. One cannot fully grasp the impact of Khadijah without feeling the emotional depths of her experiences. Imagine the pressures she faced as a successful businesswoman in a patriarchal society, the loneliness that sometimes comes with breaking barriers, the weight of responsibility as she guided caravans through dangerous lands. Yet through all this, she carried a radiant hope and an unwavering faith in goodness and justice. She was a beacon to those around her, shining light into a world that often seemed dark and uncertain. Though the years ahead would bring even greater challenges, the persecution of early Muslims, personal loss, and immense trials, Khadijah's early life laid the foundation for her unparalleled strength. Her faith was not born overnight, but nurtured through years of contemplation, leadership, and love. She was not merely the wife of the Prophet, PBUH. She was a partner in faith and mission, a leader whose courage and conviction helped Islam take its first steps. The story of Islam is incomplete without acknowledging the profound role played by Khadijah bint Khuwaylid, the first to believe, in the divine message and the unwavering pillar beside Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, during the dawn of a new era. Her acceptance of Islam was not merely a personal act of faith, it was a courageous declaration in the face of overwhelming uncertainty, fear, and social upheaval. In this chapter, we dive deep into the emotional and spiritual journey of Khadijah, R.A., as she became the first believer and the source of immense strength for the Prophet during the earliest, most challenging days of Islam. Imagine the scene on the mountain of Hira, where Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, retreated regularly to meditate and seek solitude. It was in this quiet, sacred place that the first revelation descended upon him. Words from the angel Gabriel, commanding him to read or recite. This moment marked the beginning of Islam, a message that would shake the foundations of Meccan society. Overwhelmed and fearful, the Prophet returned home, trembling, unsure of what had just happened or what lay ahead. It was Khadijah, R.A., with her steady heart and deep wisdom, who became his first refuge. She embraced him, comforted him, and assured him that he was chosen for a divine mission. Her faith was immediate and absolute. In a world where disbelief and idolatry were the norm, Khadijah's acceptance of Islam was an act of profound courage. She did not hesitate or falter. She recognized the truth in her husband's words and committed herself to his cause. This was not a passive acceptance. It was an active, brave stance in a society hostile to change. Her belief carried weight beyond personal conviction. As the first Muslim, Khadijah set an example for others to follow, showing that Islam was not a threat, but a path of light and hope. Her faith was the bedrock upon which the new community of believers would build. The early days of Islam were fraught with hardship. The new message challenged powerful tribes and disrupted entrenched customs. The prophet faced ridicule, threats, and isolation. Yet, through every trial, Khadijah stood unwaveringly by his side. She offered not just emotional support but tangible aid. Using her wealth, she helped protect the fledgling Muslim community. Her home became a sanctuary where the prophet could rest, pray, and find solace. This kind of support was priceless. No amount of wealth or status could replace the comfort of a loved one who truly believes in your mission. One of the most moving aspects of Khadijah's story is her profound trust in the prophet's vision. When the initial revelations came and the burden of prophethood weighed heavily on Muhammad, PBUH, she reassured him. She told him that God would never abandon him, that his message was true and destined to succeed. Her words were more than consolation. They were a spiritual anchor that gave the prophet the strength to endure unimaginable opposition. Her belief was not born of blind loyalty, but deep spiritual insight. The Quraysh leaders, threatened by Islam's challenge to their social and religious order, launched severe persecution against Muhammad, peace be upon him, and his followers. Muslims were boycotted, beaten, and shunned. In these dark days, Khadijah's presence was a source of light. She stood firm, refusing to back down despite the risks to her own reputation and safety. Her courage inspired others, and her household became a haven where believers could gather and support each other. This solidarity was essential for the survival of the early Muslim community. Many see Khadijah only as the prophet's wife, but her role was far more significant. She was his confidant, advisor, and partner in the mission of spreading Islam. Her wisdom helped shape the early Islamic community, and her insights influenced key decisions. Their marriage was a unique spiritual partnership. The Prophet himself spoke with immense love and respect for Khadijah, often recalling her unmatched support and sacrifices. Their bond was a testament to the power of shared faith and mutual respect. Khadijah's devotion came at a personal cost. Her wealth and social standing made her a target for those opposed to Islam. She faced social ostracism and the emotional toll of watching her beloved prophet endure pain and hostility. Yet she bore these burdens with patience and grace. Her sacrifices were silent but monumental. Without her unwavering support, the early days of Islam might have been unimaginably harder. It is hard to imagine the depth of Khadijah's emotional strength. To witness your husband chosen for a mission that divides society, to face hostility from your own people, and still to stand firm, this takes a rare soul. Her courage was quiet but unbreakable. Behind the scenes, she fought battles of faith and endurance, providing the foundation on which the Islamic message could take root. Khadijah's role as the first believer is not just a historical fact. It is a source of inspiration for millions today. She embodies the power of faith, combined with courage, love, and resilience. Her story reminds us that belief is not passive acceptance, but an active commitment that sometimes demands sacrifice and unwavering trust. Khadijah R.A. was more than the first to say, "I believe." She was the heart that kept the nascent Islamic movement alive during its darkest hours. Her faith, love, and strength created a sanctuary for the Prophet, PBUH, and the early Muslims, a place where hope flourished against all odds. In the story of Islam's birth, her light shines as brightly as the message itself. Without Khadijah, the journey of Islam would have been immeasurably harder. Her legacy as the first believer and the Prophet's greatest supporter continues to inspire believers around the world. When we reflect on the life of Khadijah bint Khuwaylid, her role as the first believer and the unwavering supporter of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, often shines brightest. Yet beyond these monumental aspects of her life, she was also a loving wife, a devoted mother, and a guiding light in her community. These roles, woven with deep compassion and strength, reveal a woman who balanced the intimate with the public, the personal with the universal. The marriage between Khadijah and Muhammad, peace be upon him, was unique in the history of humanity. A relationship built on mutual respect, deep love, and shared purpose. Unlike many marriages of their time, which were often formed for political alliances or social convenience, theirs was a union grounded in spiritual and emotional connection. Khadijah, being 15 years older than Muhammad, PBUH, had already lived a full and accomplished life when they met. Her wisdom and experience complemented his youthful idealism and sincerity. Their love story, though simple in narration, was profound in impact. She was the first person to recognize the Prophet's sincerity, honesty, and devotion to truth, qualities she herself embodied. Her support went beyond mere companionship. She was his confidant, advisor, and closest friend. Their home was a sanctuary where the Prophet found solace from the harshness of a society that rejected his message. In her presence, he was not just the messenger of God, but a husband who was loved and cared for deeply. Imagine the quiet moments they shared, the intimate conversations, the shared hopes and fears, the tears and laughter. Khadijah's empathy and understanding were a balm to the Prophet's soul. When he returned from the first revelation, trembling and afraid, it was her arms that held him, her voice that soothed his fears. Her belief in him never wavered. Even as opposition grew, this steadfast faith created a deep emotional bond that strengthened them both. Her encouragement was not just moral support, it was a spiritual lifeline. Khadijah's role as a mother was as impactful as her other roles. She bore one daughter with the Prophet, named Lady Fatima, and two sons who died in infancy. Motherhood in Khadijah's time was not easy. The hardships of life, combined with the challenges facing the Muslim community, meant that raising children required resilience and faith. Khadijah nurtured her children with love and devotion, instilling in them the values of compassion, faith, and justice. Her daughter Fatima, peace be upon her, who would become one of the most revered women in Islam, inherited her mother's strength and piety. The legacy Khadijah left through her children continues to inspire millions. Khadijah's life exemplified the balance between family responsibilities and commitment to faith. While supporting the Prophet's mission, she never neglected the emotional and physical needs of her family. Her home was a place where faith was lived daily, through prayer, kindness, and generosity. The warmth and love that filled her household created a nurturing environment for the early Muslim community and set an example for generations to come. Beyond her roles as wife and mother, Khadijah was a respected leader in Mecca. Her wealth and status allowed her to provide for many who were vulnerable or persecuted. She used her resources to support the poor, the orphans, and the early Muslims who faced hardship. Her generosity was legendary, and her house often became a refuge for those in need. In a society where women's voices were often marginalized, Khadijah's influence was unmistakable. She was a woman who led by example, through compassion, strength, and unwavering commitment to justice. Khadijah's life was marked by sacrifice. She gave up comfort, faced social ostracism, and endured personal losses. Yet she bore these with patience and grace, motivated by her love for God and the Prophet. Her wealth, once a symbol of status, became a tool for spreading Islam and protecting the vulnerable. She sacrificed not only material things, but also her reputation and safety, standing firm in the face of adversity. Khadijah experienced great personal losses, including the deaths of her beloved children and eventually her own passing before the migration to Medina. The emotional pain she endured was immense, yet her faith never faltered. Her strength in suffering provides a timeless lesson in resilience and trust in God's plan. Her life encourages believers to face hardship with patience and hope. Khadijah's legacy extends far beyond her time. As a loving wife, nurturing mother, and compassionate leader, she set a standard of excellence for all Muslims. Her life teaches us about the power of faith lived through action, love expressed through sacrifice, and leadership grounded in humility. Millions look to Khadijah not just as a historical figure, but as a role model, a woman whose heart was large enough to embrace a mission that changed the world and whose spirit remains alive in the faith of Muslims everywhere. The story of Khadijah bint Khuwaylid is one of timeless inspiration, a story that resonates through the centuries, calling believers to reflect on faith, courage, love, and leadership. She was not only the first believer in Islam, but also the foundation upon which the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and the Muslim community stood during the most challenging early years of the faith. As we bring her story to a close, it is essential to explore her enduring legacy and the powerful lessons her life offers to all generations. Khadijah's life was a testament to what it means to live with unwavering faith and unshakable courage. From the moment she embraced Islam, she stepped into a role that demanded immense bravery, rejecting the idol worship of her society, risking wealth and status, and standing firm beside the Prophet amidst fierce opposition required a heart full of conviction. Her legacy reminds us that true faith is not passive. It calls for action, sacrifice, and steadfastness. In a world where beliefs are often tested by challenges and hardships, Khadijah's courage serves as a beacon, urging us to hold firm to our values even when the path is difficult. One of the most profound lessons from Khadijah's life is the power of genuine support and partnership. Her relationship with the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was marked by mutual respect, love, and shared purpose. This partnership became a source of strength for the nascent Islamic movement. Today, Khadijah's example teaches us about the importance of standing beside those who pursue truth and justice. Whether in personal relationships, communities, or broader social causes, her life shows that support, empathy, and encouragement can transform challenges into triumphs. Khadijah's wealth was not hoarded or used solely for personal gain. She used it as a means to uplift others. Her generosity helped protect and sustain the early Muslim community, demonstrating how material resources can be powerful tools for social good. In our time, her example inspires us to view wealth and resources as responsibilities, to share, to support, and to empower those who need it most. Generosity, when rooted in faith and compassion, can create ripples of positive change far beyond what we imagine. In a society where women often faced marginalization, Khadijah emerged as a leader defined by compassion, wisdom, and integrity. She showed that true leadership is not about dominance or control, but about serving others and acting with honesty. Her life encourages modern leaders in families, communities, and organizations to lead with empathy, fairness, and moral courage. Her example challenges us to build inclusive environments where every voice is valued and respected. Khadijah's journey was filled with trials, personal loss, social ostracism, and the immense pressures of supporting a prophetic mission. Yet she faced all adversity with patience and unwavering trust in God's plan. Her resilience teaches us the importance of perseverance and hope. When life's challenges threaten to overwhelm us, Khadijah's story encourages believers to draw strength from faith and to continue moving forward with courage. Khadijah's life stands as a powerful counter-narrative to misconceptions about women's roles in Islam. She was a successful businesswoman, a spiritual pillar, a devoted wife and mother, and a courageous leader. Her example highlights that Islam honors and uplifts women, recognizing their vital contributions to society and faith. For women today, Khadijah is a role model, a reminder that strength, wisdom, and leadership are deeply compatible with faith and devotion. More than anything, Khadijah's spiritual legacy is one of deep devotion to God and unwavering belief in the message of Islam. Her acceptance of prophethood, her steadfast support, and her daily acts of worship reflect a soul deeply connected to the divine. Her life invites believers to cultivate a personal and profound relationship with God, one that sustains them through life's challenges and inspires them to act with kindness and justice. Khadijah's story is not confined to history books. It lives in the hearts of Muslims everywhere. Her courage inspires activists. Her faith comforts the weary. Her generosity challenges the wealthy. And her leadership models excellence. As we reflect on her life, we are reminded that each of us carries the potential to embody Khadijah's spirit. Whether through acts of faith, support for loved ones, leadership in community, or resilience in hardship, her legacy beckons us to live with purpose and compassion. Khadijah was more than the first believer in Islam. She was the first light to illuminate the path of a new faith. Her unwavering belief, her steadfast support for the Prophet, peace be upon him, and her compassionate leadership set the foundation for the flourishing of Islam. Her life is a source of endless inspiration, reminding us that faith is a journey of courage, love, and sacrifice. Through Khadijah, we learn that true power lies not in wealth or status, but in the strength of the heart and the purity of intention. As we honor her memory, may we strive to embody the values she lived by: faith, courage, generosity, and unwavering support for justice and truth. Her legacy is a gift to humanity, a beacon of hope that continues to guide and inspire now and forever.